listen up. Because what I'm about to tell you could save you from heartbreak, manipulation, and wasted time. If a man says this, he's lying. And you need to know how to spot it before it's too late. Men who deceive don't do it with obvious lies. They use words carefully, wrapping them in charm and false promises. But if you understand the signs, you'll never be fooled again. Today, we're exposing 6 key phrases that men use when they're not being truthful. So you can see through the facade and stand in your power. This is one of the most deceptive phrases a man can use. Not because it's an outright lie, but because it's designed to keep you emotionally invested while giving him an easy escape route. When a man says, "I'm not looking for anything serious," he is setting the stage for a relationship that revolves entirely around his needs and convenience. He wants the emotional support, the intimacy, and the companionship, but without the responsibility that comes with true commitment. The phrase, "but let's see where it goes," is a deliberate hook. It's meant to keep you hopeful, to make you believe that with time, he might change his mind. But the harsh truth, if he already knows he doesn't want anything serious, then he's already made his decision. The uncertainty he's feeding you is not real. It's a delay tactic. Many women hear this phrase and think, maybe he's just scared of commitment. Maybe if I show him how amazing I am, he'll realize I'm worth it and change his mind. This is where the trap is set. The moment you start believing that his uncertainty is a challenge you need to overcome, you hand over your power. You start investing more, waiting longer, and tolerating behaviors that you wouldn't normally accept. You convince yourself that patience and understanding will eventually lead to love. But here's the reality. If a man truly values you, he won't risk losing you by keeping things vague. He won't play games with your emotions. Instead, he will be clear about his intentions because he respects you enough to give you the choice to stay or walk away. Now let's break this down even further. When a man says he's not looking for anything serious, it usually means one of 3 things. He's either enjoying the single life and doesn't want to give up his freedom, he's still emotionally tied to someone else, or he simply doesn't see you as the woman he wants to commit to. None of these reasons are in your favor. It doesn't mean you're not worthy of commitment. It means he is not the right man for you. The worst mistake you can make is waiting for him to suddenly wake up and realize that you're the one. That rarely happens. Instead, what happens is that you waste months, even years, in a relationship that never progresses, while he enjoys the best of both worlds. Your loyalty and attention without having to fully invest in you. If you hear this phrase, the best response is not to wait, not to convince him, but to walk away. Because the right man, he won't leave you questioning where you stand. He won't breadcrumb you with mixed signals. He will be clear, intentional, and ready to build something real. Your time, energy, and love are too valuable to be spent on someone who only wants you when it's convenient for them. You are not an option. You are a priority. The moment you embrace that truth, you free yourself from men who only offer you half love and make space for the man who will give you the real thing. At first, hearing a man say, "I've never felt this way before," can feel incredibly flattering. It makes you feel special, like you've unlocked a part of him that no one else has. You start believing that your presence in his life is unique, that you've done something no other woman could do. But here's the hard truth. This phrase is often a carefully crafted illusion, a tactic to lower your guard and fast-track emotional intimacy. It's designed to make you feel like you're in uncharted territory together when, in reality, it's just another page from a well-rehearsed script. When a man truly experiences deep, genuine emotions for the first time, he doesn't need to announce it. His actions will speak for him. But when a man says this too soon, without any real foundation of time or shared experiences, it should be a red flag. Why? Because real love, real emotional connection takes time to develop. It doesn't happen overnight, and it certainly doesn't happen just because of a few deep conversations or shared moments. If a man tells you, "I've never felt this way before," within days or weeks of knowing you, he's not speaking from a place of truth. He's speaking from a place of strategy. This phrase is often used by men who want to accelerate emotional closeness without actually putting in the time and effort required to build a meaningful connection. They know that when a woman hears this, she will start to feel chosen, different. This creates an emotional bond that makes it harder for her to see his flaws or question his true intentions. Instead of taking a step back and assessing whether his actions align with his words, she might rush into trusting him, believing that she's experiencing something rare and once in a lifetime. But here's the key: if something feels too good to be true, Now, let's take a step back and analyze what this phrase truly means in different contexts. If a man has had multiple relationships in the past, but he tells you that you're making him feel something he's never felt before, ask yourself, what exactly does he mean? If he's implying that he has never been in love, then why? Is he emotionally unavailable? Is he incapable of sustaining long-term commitment? If he's been in love before but claims this time is different, what makes it different? Are his actions reflecting this so-called unique connection, or is it just empty words? These are the questions that will separate the truth from manipulation. Another common use of this phrase is in the early love bombing stage. Love bombing is when someone showers you with excessive affection, flattery, and attention in a short period of time, making you feel deeply special and wanted. But the problem is, it's not real. It's a performance. A man who uses this phrase during love bombing isn't interested in building something meaningful. He's interested in winning you over quickly. And once he feels he has you emotionally hooked, the dynamic shifts. The grand gestures start to fade. The emotional connection suddenly feels inconsistent. And you're left wondering what changed. What changed is that he got what he wanted. Your trust, your investment, your attachment. A man who is truly experiencing deep, unique emotions for the first time won't need to rush the process. He won't try to convince you with words alone. He will prove it through consistent effort, emotional vulnerability, and long-term actions. He will show up for you, support you, and build a relationship based on respect and mutual understanding, not just grand statements. If he says, "I've never felt this way before," but disappears when you need emotional support, ignores your boundaries, or expects you to cater to his needs without reciprocating, then he wasn't being honest from the start. The best way to respond to this phrase: don't get swept up in it. Instead of letting it fast-track your emotions, observe his behavior. Does he treat you with consistency? Does he respect your pace? Or is he trying to rush the connection? Are his words backed by genuine effort, or do they feel more like a script designed to win you over? A man who genuinely values you won't just make you feel special in the moment. He will prove it over time. Your heart is not something to be manipulated by sweet words and empty promises. Real love doesn't need exaggerated declarations. It stands firm on truth, effort, and respect. So don't fall for the words. Look at the actions. That's where the real truth lies. When a man says, "My ex was crazy," you need to pause and think critically. At first, it might sound like an innocent statement or even a justified complaint. Maybe he's just opening up about his past, right? But more often than not, this phrase is a huge red flag, one that reveals more about him than about his ex. It's one of the most common manipulation tactics used to evade accountability, gain sympathy, and subtly condition you for future mistreatment. Let's break it down. What is he really saying when he labels his ex as crazy? In most cases, he's trying to rewrite the narrative of their past relationship in a way that makes him the innocent victim and his ex the irrational villain. This does two things. It allows him to avoid taking responsibility for whatever went wrong in that relationship. It subtly warns you not to challenge him in the same way his ex supposedly did. Think about it. Is no relationship ends because of just one person. Sure, there are toxic relationships, and yes, some people are difficult to deal with. But if every story he tells about his ex makes her sound like an unstable, emotional mess while he conveniently plays the innocent, perfect guy, he's lying to you, or at the very least, he's hiding the truth. Now, let's look at the deeper psychology behind this phrase. When a man labels his ex as crazy, He's planting a seed in your mind. It's a subtle form of emotional manipulation. Why? Because if you ever express emotions, set boundaries, or call them out on bad behavior, guess what? You'll hesitate because you don't want to be seen as another crazy ex. You'll start questioning yourself. Am I overreacting? Am I being too sensitive? This is how emotional manipulation works. It makes you second guess your own feelings and instincts. Another thing to consider is pattern recognition. If a man has dated multiple women and somehow every single one of them was crazy, the common denominator is him. Either he has a pattern of choosing toxic relationships, which means he isn't emotionally healthy himself, or he's the problem and refuses to see it. If a man refuses to take responsibility for the past, he won't take responsibility in the... So how do you respond to this? The best way is to dig deeper. Instead of just nodding along or feeling sorry for him, ask specific question. What exactly did she do that made her crazy? How did you handle those situations? Looking back, is there anything you think you could have done differently? A mature, emotionally healthy man will give a balanced answer. He might say something like, we both made mistakes. She had her issues, but I also had things to work on. That's accountability. But if his response is full of blame, if he gets defensive, or if he refuses to acknowledge any of his own faults, that's a major red flag. At the end of the day, a man who speaks badly about his ex will eventually speak badly about you. Today, he's calling her crazy. Tomorrow, you might be the next crazy ex in his story. Real men, mature men, don't tear down their past partners just to make themselves look good. They take ownership of their actions, they learn, and they grow. So don't be fooled by this phrase. Instead, recognize it for what it is, a warning sign. A man who truly respects women, past and present, won't feel the need to degrade them. And a man who refuses to take responsibility for his past will only bring those same issues into his future. Don't ignore the signs. Protect your peace and never let someone else's baggage become your burden. When a man says, I just need some space right now, it's easy to assume that he's simply overwhelmed or going through something personal. After all, we all need time alone sometimes, right? But in many cases, this phrase is actually a soft breakup, a delay tactic, or a way to keep you emotionally hooked while he figures out his next move. It's one of the most misunderstood phrases in relationships. And if you're not careful, you can end up in an exhausting cycle of waiting, hoping, and constantly questioning where you stand. Let's break it down. When someone genuinely needs space, it usually comes with clarity. A man who truly values you will say something like, I'm dealing with something personal and I need some time to process it. But I care about you and this isn't about pushing you away. I just need a little time and I'll keep you updated on how I'm feeling. But if a man simply says, I need some space right now, with no clear explanation or time frame, what he's actually doing is creating emotional distance without fully letting go. He's setting the stage for uncertainty, making you wonder, what did I do wrong? Did I push him away? Will he come back? This is a form of emotional control. He's keeping the door open just enough to keep you attached, but not enough for you to feel secure. In many cases, needing space is just a polite way of pulling away without the responsibility of a breakup. He might be losing interest but doesn't want to deal with the guilt of hurting you. He might be testing the waters elsewhere while keeping you as a backup option. Or he might simply enjoy the power dynamic of knowing you're still emotionally invested while he figures out his next move. Whatever the case, if a man truly loves and respects you, he won't leave you in a state of confusion and doubt. Now let's address the waiting trap. When a man asks for space, many women automatically shift into fix-it mode. They start analyzing everything. Maybe I was too clingy. Maybe I should give him more time. Maybe if I just wait patiently, he'll come back and appreciate me more. This is exactly what he's counting on. He wants the freedom to step back without the risk of losing you completely. And the more you wait, the more power. So how do you respond? You don't chase and you don't wait. The moment a man says, I need space, you match that energy and give him all the space he wants, permanently if needed. You don't send texts checking in. You don't ask him if he's ready to talk. You don't put your life on hold while he figures things out. Instead, you focus on yourself. You shift your energy back to you. A man who truly cares about you will never risk losing you by creating unnecessary distance. He won't play mind games or keep you in emotional limbo. If he's using "I need space" as a way to avoid responsibility, test other options, or control the dynamic, then he's not the man for you. So don't fall for the illusion. If a man needs space, let him have it. But make sure he knows that when he comes back, he might find an empty space where you once stood. Because a woman who knows her worth doesn't wait around for someone who isn't sure about her. She walks away, knowing that the right man won't ask for space. He'll make space for her in his life. When a man tells you, "I don't deserve you," it might sound like humility or even a romantic gesture at first. It feels like he's acknowledging your worth, like he's in awe of the amazing woman you are. But in reality, this phrase is often a manipulative escape hatch, a way to avoid responsibility, lower your expectations, or even say, let's break this down. A man who genuinely believes he doesn't deserve you will do one of two things: step up or step aside, if he's truly self-aware. If he honestly feels like he's not treating you the way you deserve, he will either work on himself to rise to your level or let you go so you can find someone who will. But if he keeps saying, "I don't deserve you," yet still expects you to stay, then what he really means: I know I'm not treating you right, but I hope you'll stick around anyway. That's not humility. That's manipulation. Think about it. What is he really trying to accomplish with this statement? Most of the time, this phrase is used to lower your expectations so that you'll accept less than you deserve. It's a way of subtly telling you, don't expect me to change. Don't expect me to meet your standards. I've already warned you that I'm not good enough. And the moment you hear those words, your natural instinct is to reassure him. You might say, "No, don't say that. Of course, you deserve me." Suddenly, instead of holding him accountable, you're now the one trying to convince him of his worth. Do you see how the roles just flipped? Instead of focusing on whether he is treating you right, you're now comforting him. And this phrase is also used as an excuse for bad behavior. If a man knows he's treating you poorly, if he's inconsistent, emotionally unavailable, or even toxic, he might say, "I don't deserve you," as a way of softening the impact of his actions. It's like a preemptive apology without actually having to change. It's his way of making himself look self-aware while still doing exactly what he wants. And because he's admitted to being unworthy, he thinks he'll be more forgiving when he lets you down. But here's the truth. A man who says he doesn't deserve you is telling you exactly how he plans to treat you. He's showing you that he has no intention of stepping up. He's setting the stage for you to lower your standards and accept a version of love that is less than what you deserve. And the moment you accept it, the cycle begins. He keeps doing the bare minimum, and you keep staying because you think he just needs more encouragement. So how do you respond? You take his words at face value. If a man tells you he doesn't deserve you, don't argue. Don't try to convince him otherwise. Instead, say, "You know what? You're right," then walk away. Because if a man truly values you, he won't just tell you how amazing you are. He'll prove it through his actions. A real man doesn't just admire your worth. He rises to meet it. If he's using "I don't deserve you" as a shield to avoid growth, accountability, or commitment, then he's right. He doesn't deserve you. And the best thing you can do is walk away and make room for the man who actually will. When a man looks you in the eyes and says, "I would never lie to you," your first instinct might be to believe him. After all, honesty is the foundation of any strong relationship, and hearing this statement should be reassuring. But here's the reality. The more someone feels the need to say this outright, the more you should question why they're saying it in the first place. Think about it. Do truly honest people go around constantly saying, "I would never lie to you"? No, because their actions prove their honesty. Their consistency, their integrity, and their reliability eliminate the need for such statements. They don't have to convince you with words because their character speaks for itself. But when a man insists on telling you how truthful he is, It's often a tactic to make you doubt your own instincts. Let's break this down. In many cases, this phrase is a form of preemptive defense. A man who is lying or hiding something knows that. At some point, you might start questioning him. So instead of waiting for that moment, he gets ahead of it by planting the idea that he's incapable of dishonesty. The goal, to make you feel guilty for even suspecting him. It's a subtle manipulation technique called convincing instead of proving. Instead of consistently showing you honesty, he wants to convince you of it with words. Because words are easy. Actions take effort. Another reason this phrase is a red flag is that it's often used to shut down conversations. Imagine you question him about something that doesn't add up. Maybe his story changed slightly, or you got a weird feeling about something he said. Instead of answering calmly and directly, he responds with, "I would never lie to you. What just happened?" He didn't actually answer your question. Instead, he made a broad, sweeping statement that puts you on the defensive. Now, if you push further, you risk looking paranoid or distrustful. This is how emotional manipulation works. It shifts the focus away from the actual issue and onto your reaction to it. But let's go deeper. Truly honest people embrace accountability. If a misunderstanding happens, they clarify. If they make a mistake, they own up to it. They don't rely on blanket statements to prove their integrity. A man who values truth doesn't have to declare it. His behavior makes it evident. He follows through on his words. He remains consistent over time. He communicates openly and doesn't become defensive when asked reasonable questions. So how should you respond when a man says, "I would never lie to you"? The key is to trust patterns, not words. Instead of being reassured by the statement, pay attention to his consistency. Does his behavior match his words? Does he take responsibility when confronted with inconsistencies? Does he avoid answering direct questions and instead try to make you feel guilty for asking? Remember, this doesn't demand validation. It proves itself over time. If you ever find yourself in a situation where a man is working harder to convince you of his honesty rather than simply being honest, trust your instincts. Because the truth is, the people who say, "I would never lie to you," the most are often the ones who already have. At the end of the day, words are easy to say, but actions are what reveal the truth. A man who truly respects, values, and loves you will not rely on grand statements or emotional manipulation. He will prove himself through consistency, honesty, and effort. When a man tells you things like, "I need space," "I don't deserve you," or "I would never lie to you," don't just listen to the words. Watch what follows. Do his actions align with what he's saying? Or is he trying to shape your perception while avoiding responsibility? You are not someone who needs to convince a man to step up, wait around for clarity, or accept less than you deserve. The right man will never put you in a position where you have to question his intentions or fight for basic honesty and respect. So here's the strongest, most confident women are the ones who trust themselves first. They don't fall for empty words. They don't ignore their instincts. And they don't settle for anything less than a man who proves through his actions that he is worthy of them. You are powerful, you are valuable, and you deserve someone who shows up, not just someone who talks.